Rainbow Dreams Educational Foundation presents the 22nd Annual Las Vegas Juneteenth Festival, Saturday, June 17th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Expo at World Market Center. Join us and celebrate Juneteenth Freedom Day as we welcome R&B diva 702 back to Sin City to perform their biggest hits. This event is free to the public. You heard us, free. For more information, visit us online at june19lv.com. That's june19lv.com. Powered by Zappos.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
It's your main man, 360 the Poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale. What up, what up, what up, what up? We back in this thing like a wedgie, baby. You know who it is. You know what time it is. It's Wednesday afternoon. I mean, it's hump day. Time to holla at the homie. And I'm your homie, 360 the Poet. As always, I am that man, the one, the man, the myth, and the legend. Always here bringing you some of the best information, some of the best, what you call that, advice column type thing that we have to offer at all times. I am the number one, in my opinion, this is IMO, the number one advice column online, live, or in person. So if you ever need to find out what's going on, you got some questions, you can always hit me up here at hot7025fm, or you can always send me an email at hollaatthehomie@gmail.com. That's HOLLAATTHAHOMIE. That's right. Yeah, I know it's misspelled on my banner on Facebook, but we're going to get that corrected because THA means something. Because THAHOMIE is the poet is tenacity, heart, and attitude, present opportunities every time. That's what the acronym stands for. And speaking of acronyms, you know I'm always big on my sponsors. This week, brought to you in part by It's Cool to Be Smart. Yeah, you're right. You see all those dots and everything in between. It's cool to be smart. That's what I'm talking about. Dak in the building. Dak was in the building, actually. It's Cool to Be Smart is an organization founded by one of my closest friends, one of my brothers, for almost 30 years. We've been hanging tight since 1995 when we were both freshmen at Tennessee State University. My main man, Cool Mill, Reginald Sharif. One of the brothers who I actually take advice from myself at times. And I've also given him a little bit here in the thing. Got my main man, Dakari, in the building. Dak, that's one of the other members of the clique that we call the WAN, which we all met. That's where I met Cool Mill. So if y'all want to know anything about It's Cool to Be Smart, and y'all know how I love acronyms. It stands for, stands for conscious, open-minded, optimistic, loving, and then the smart is successful, mindful, authentic, respected, and talented. So it's cool to be smart. So they just had a big old premiere of, Cool Mill got a documentary going on about how it's cool to be smart in his journey from Homewood, Pennsylvania over in the Pittsburgh area to where he is now, on one of the top men in Microsoft in his division. So big up to my main man, Cool Mill. So it's cool to be smart. Appreciate you for sponsoring today's shirt, and brought to you in part by him and his company on today's episode. So we got a good one today. How y'all been doing? What y'all doing? Where y'all at? And where y'all at and what y'all doing there? I need to know what's up. I need a little bit of water. because we're going to talk some shite today. This one has got people on the fence. I got people on both sides of it that's attacking me like, oh, what do you mean this? Or why would you be afraid to do that? But we're going to talk about it because you know how we always do. We throw a little teaser out there online in the morning and get people's bubbles, just juices bubbling and things like that. So we here today. We doing it one more again right here live and direct on hot7025fm.com, live on Facebook, and live on Instagram. So we in this thing, so let's do it. We talking a little bit today about, people's love lives, man. Love lives are something different. If you call your love life your sex life or anything like that, if they are connected in two and one and the same, then by all means feel free to call it your love life if you love having sex. If that's what you want to put the two as the same thing. But we talking about today, I got a letter from a young lady, and I believe it's a young lady. She didn't say yay or nay, but she did. And the person kept mentioning my man, so I always like to keep it even keel. I never, I keep ambiguity. But first and foremost, let me give you my disclaimer before we get into what it is that we do. I am not clinically trained, or I have never been to school for, now you quick, my engineers are quick. They spell my stuff, my banner back right and together on there. I've never been to school to be a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and or a counselor. But what I have done is I've lived a life. It's been adventurous. And in that life, I've also been able to vicariously live through others, and they've allowed me to sponge up some of that good knowledge from them as they bestowed it upon me. And now I'm bringing it back to you all. And that's how we do. That's how Holla at the Homie came about. It started off as a platform where just the fellas could come and reach out and holla at the homie. Because, a lot of times the fellas, we don't like to talk a lot. We don't like to talk about our feelings and stuff like that. But it's really ain't about feelings, it's just about how you feel. And I'm never one to tell you, this is one of my biggest things I like to say, I'm never going to tell you what to do. So I'm not here for anybody who writes me letters or sends me text or calls in. I'm not here ever to tell you what to do. I'm not here to direct you on what to do. I'm just here to give you options based off what you're going through that can be done, that possibly could be executed with the proper amount of work. That's what I'm here to do, So I just want to let y'all know that part, that I'm not here to tell you and direct you on what to do. I'm simply here to tell you what can be done. All right? So let me see something here. I think I got something going on with my phone. So we're going to do this, and we're going to start it back over right now. So that's always my option. I like to tell people and let them know that I'm not here to tell you what to do with your life. I'm just telling you some of the options that can be done, some of the things that can be accomplished based off what it is you're going through and what can be done about that. So we're not going to, let me see. Okay, Mike Denardi in the building. Denardi. He said, I tell my clients the same thing in real estate. I'm not here to tell you. I need to work on that accent, because Mike Denardi he's got one of the best New York accents. If you ever need to hear somebody that's from New York, he gonna talk to you. I need to get that. Y'all know how I am with dialects and stuff like that. So I like to, I'm gonna get it. I need to holler, Mike, come chill with me some more, man. We need to, chillax. And I need to, soak up some of your New York accent. But appreciate you. Not telling you what to do, just giving you options. All right? So that's what we're here doing today. So let me dive into this letter. As always, we like to, people get letters and stuff. They send them to me. And again, I appreciate each and every person that not only writes in, that takes the time out to consider, gaining advice from me or receiving advice from me, or anybody who's even listening and tapped in and tuning in, So I appreciate every single one of you people. What's going on? How you doing? What's up, Jazz? Every single one of you individuals that come out there, whether you're in a group, you're listening, however you do it, I appreciate each and every one of y'all for at least giving me a little bit of your time on your day on a Wednesday afternoon from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., okay? So even though you only get 54 minutes, I appreciate y'all, each and every one of y'all. Maybe less than that, might be 50. But no, I'm just messing with you. So we're going to dive straight in. Get a little more water. It's the desert, man. It's hot out here in the desert. Weather's starting to change. It's been I sound like a whole nother person. The weather's starting to change a little bit. It's the first time, and I've been here in June, and it's not triple digits. We haven't hit triple digits yet, and we 14 days into June. Big happy birthday to the homegirl Kels from yesterday. Her birthday was yesterday. Gemini season out there. Again, shout out to all my Geminis. Y'all two-faced it. No, I'm just playing. No, not two-faced it. Y'all just dual personalities, and I understand that. I'm a functioning schizophrenic. Anyway, big shout out yesterday. So the weather's changing out here, man. So it's got my throat all dry and stuff like that, but we're going to keep sipping on this water. Thank goodness for water. So, hey, homie. I'm going to let my glasses on. I need to holla. I need to know if I sound absurd. Before throwing this idea out to my man, I need to know, and I need to rewind. I would like to know, and I'd like for you to let me know, if I start by saying, I was not on board when I first heard about this on television. But the more I started to lean into the idea, I really started to think it might work for me. So, then she put in quotations, they put in quotations, deep breaths. Here I go. What do you think of the idea of scheduling sex? A little background on us. Been married for 3 years, and I really do enjoy having sex with my man. I just feel like after us both working all day and coming in and getting dinner fixed and balancing life and getting to our TV shows, when we actually do have days off together, we never truly get around to it. You know, though the thought is always on our mind and on the forefront of our mind, after balancing all of the things that life throws at us on a daily basis, we never get a chance to, quote unquote, do the damn thing. So fast forward to the morning. Damn, by Kendrick Lamar. So, homie, I need to know what I can do to get the idea across to my man of possibly scheduling a sex activity between us. Sincerely, let's get it on the calendar. Okay. All right. E. Carice. My sister E. Carice said, nah, too much of a routine for a Sagittarius. Asking Sagittarius is nasty. Every Sagittarius I know is a freak. Everyone I know is a freak. I'm related to some, and they nasty because I got their stories from hearing them talk. And everyone that I know that's out there, one of the homies or the homegirls, every Sag I know, y'all nasty. So maybe that would be too much routine for y'all. I get that portion. I understand that. But then I also got to see the other side of the coin, because what Mr. or Miss Let's Get It on the Calendar said, it says that after balancing life and TV shows and dinner and, coming in and, getting, cleaned up after work, they never really get a chance to get around to it. And I understand. I understand that as well. And then Dak says, scheduling is a must. But the thing about it, he's put at least 3 times a week, though. With exclamation point. See, and that's the other side of things. Like, okay, we all know as we progress from being 20-somethings and in relationships to 30-somethings and in relationships to some 40 and 50-somethings in relationships, how the bodies, both the male body, the female body, they make their own natural twists and turns. Whether it be an external, how you carry your weight, or whether it be external, like if your skin isn't as tight or, tight or toit. I like to say the word toit. Sounds better. It sounds like it's a French word. But whether it's something that's cosmetic, that may change. But then also there's internal things. There's things inside your body. See, Mike Denardi says, I have the highest sex drive now than ever before, and I'm 32. And that's perfect. Because at 32, you are at the peak of your dickum downs. I'm not even going to lie. At 32, that's your magic year. slanging dick around like nobody's business. Like you throwing it back and forth. Excuse me, slanging wang. We'll say wang, okay, just in case, we don't have to beep everything out in case we go into some syndication type things. But, I'm just saying, like you slanging wang everywhere you want to go at 32, that's perfect. But then if you're at 32 and you got a life and, things go on, you may be a construction worker or, your wife may be, your significant other may be, an RN and it takes all day, maybe they be an obstetrician gynecologist. And, people don't, I used to want to be an OBGYN back when I was little. Why? Probably because I was just thinking nasty. But then I met one and he was like, I really don't want to be around vagina after being around it all day long. I was like, well, that's dumb. That's stupid. Like, does a butcher go vegetarian? That's dumb in my head. That's what I told him, at 13 when he told me that. That's how long ago it was when I wanted to be OBGYN. Then I discovered the gift of gab and I never looked back. Anyway, but like, so if you're around something, or if you don't have the energy after you come off of doing your work, and as your body gets older and as things start to change within you metaphysically, then there may be a need at times to schedule things to optimize your peak performance, if nothing else. Not saying, shut up, James Pitts. He said gynecologist. Shut your face, boy. But, you may not have the oomph in you, because if it becomes a mental thing, because if in your mind you've already signed on that you're either A, too tired, or either B, she has a headache, or either C, you don't know if you really got what it's got going on that night, or D, she not ready to receive what you got. Because if a woman's not aroused, like if she not wet, it low-key hurts her. It hurts her. I don't care how much you do all that. It don't. That's external moisture. That's what's gotten down, right? But if she not wet and ready, it's going to be painful. I'm not even going to lie. Exactly like James said, mental exhaustion is real. It's a real thing. To be mentally exhausted, if it's in your head already that you're tired, whether in your brain or in your body or both. If it's just in your brain, then your body's shutting down on its own. If it's your body and your mind got a little bit more gas in it, then sometimes you can overcome the physical fatigue if your mental fatigue is stronger, if it's been working. So maybe the scheduling of the sex wouldn't be a bad thing for you, Mr. or Miss. Let's get it on the calendar. Because it appears as if things aren't all, like, if I can see if y'all went to work at the same time, got off at the same time, so you had a chance to kind of like wrap your mind around what may be going on today, or y'all may be able to say, send a text to each other, send that egg. She may send you the eggplant text like need that, or you may send her the peach text like got to get that, and if they coincide with one another, then you actually are scheduling already in a way. So I decided to break this letter down, not really break it down, but I went into a methodology, thinking of a way to help people that may be against this idea of scheduling sex. Look at it like, give it a different title. Call it prom night. Think of it as something where you knew you were hoping to have sex, like prom night, right? Prom night, everybody think they getting laid, or everybody think that somebody's going to try to give them some D. Whatever the case may be. Prom night is one of those things. Label it that so it doesn't seem as a geriatric calendar appointment. But if you want to put it on, Google calendars are a beast. Boy, I tell you. They tell me exactly how long it's going to take me to get to the gig. Tell me how long it's going to take me to get down here to the station, because I put my things in the Google calendar. So they watching you anyway. They monitoring you anyway, so forget it. Ride the wave, surf that thing. But so that way, if I'm at the crib and I know it normally takes me 20 minutes to get somewhere, but if I'm somewhere else and my notification tells me like, hey, from where you are, it's a traffic accident, it's 45 minutes, whatever. So these things will keep you scheduled. So fast forward to what I'm talking about right now. So put it on the Google calendar that, Tuesday night is prom night, or call it birthday. Jeremiah got a song called Birthday Sex. It's the best day of the year. So call it something to where you're call. James said he was 0-2 on prom night, swing and a miss. I was 5 for 5 on prom night, James. Sorry for you, bruh. That's why I said prom night, because I knew I was scheduling. I was like, man, I'm had this suit, I'm had this certain cologne on, my haircut gonna be a certain way. I was a scheduler, boy, 5 for 5. Why did I go to 5 proms? That's another discussion. Or, like I say, Jeremiah got a song called Birthday Sex, right? So why not just call it, say, hey, cake, cake, cake. Send a cake text with the candles in it. Yeah, I was the Black Mamba, Kobe in this thing, the great. But like, send a cake with candles emoji to each other. Emojis have made it easier to communicate intermentally. You know what I mean? Subconsciously. They made it easier for you to talk to each other without saying anything. Just innuendos type thing, but understood ones. It's different when somebody hits you with an innuendo and you don't know what it means. Like, what are you leading to? Like, catch up, mustard. Like, what you mean what I'm leading to? I sent you this, and after that, followed by this, so that means I want that, you know? But don't look at it as scheduling like you got a doctor's appointment. If you connect it to something, Mr. or Miss, let's get it on the calendar. If you connect it to something that's, one, exciting in a way, like anticipatory, like, because you don't want to, because if it's something to where, like, it's a performance thing for y'all, like, you know, when y'all do try after work, you know, it don't really just go the way y'all both want it. If that's something, then, you know, that's different. If it's a performance type thing, right? But if it's something along the lines of like, if it's something along the lines of like, you just don't have the mental capacity, then you have to put it with something to where it's like a positive connotation. You have to make it feel like it's something that's good that's going to happen. So you don't want to, you know, sometimes when you anticipate things, it makes them as if you get too nervous or too anxious. So you don't want to put it with that because it's like, oh, I got to perform. And performance anxiety is a real thing too. People don't get it, but performance anxiety is real. You know, some of the best stars get on the stage that they've been wanting to get to forever. And when they get there, they choke a little bit. And why? And why? That's the question. Why do they do that? There's many different reasons. It's something that's internal, something that's mental. Because this computer up here, it can shut down on you in a heartbeat, or it can drive you through times when you didn't think you would make it through. Mental strength is the number one strength. Like, I'm a former track star, former track runner, right? But one of the things I had to wrap my mind around, Coach Ronald Tatum told me, he was like, it's 10% physical. Like, the stuff you're doing with your body, only takes care of 10% of what you have to do on this track. The other 90% is how you prepare in your brain, how you prepare to work out, how you prepare to run, how you prepare to, face your opposition. It's all mental. That's the 90% of it that makes you say, like, damn, if I can do this in here, then it's going to automatically make me do it in here. You understand what I'm saying? So, Mr. or Miss, let's get it on the calendar. Let's get it in here to where it's something that's a plus. You know? Man, James, you stupid. He said he put a James Harden and went out game 7. That's a bad performance. That's what we're going to call it, a Harden game 7. When you have a bad performance, call it a Harden game 7, because you automatically know your performance is going to be subpar. What up, rah-rah? What's happening with you? But, yeah, so real spit, though, like, to recap, for those that's just joining us, we talking about a young lady or gentleman that came to us, wrote us a letter, and asked, would it be absurd to approach their significant other, their man, that's why but I'm always going to say male or female, approach their man about scheduling sex. And, we had some opposers on there. Some people like, that's too routine, that's whack. We had some people say, yeah, we got to schedule it, but it needs to be scheduled on a regular, and it's not like the person, who wrote the letter said that they, Rara said, the fuck, we got a schedule for it. That's what we talking about. See, sometimes she said that, he or she said that they're not uninterested in having sex with a man. It's just that after going to work and cleaning up, after getting off work and fixing dinner and, watching a particular shows together, like sometimes they don't get around to it. And she would like to get to it more, and I'm pretty sure he would like to get to it more. They just haven't wanted to get to it at the same time. So a schedule in some ways can be good. Blah, 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 she boring. I mean, a schedule in some ways can be good, but but you have to make it feel good, because again, mentally is what we're talking about. Like I broke down how mentally you need to be ready on both sides. Like both the man and the woman need to be ready, or both partners. Such politically correct world today. Both partners have to be ready to go into it for it to be great. I believe that. Because you may think it's great, but your partner may be like, yeah, it's cool. And mainly because they just weren't into it. They weren't into it. Because like I touched on how if a woman's not ready and she's not into it, it's painful more than pleasurable. I can't understand. I've never been a man that not into it. So I don't really know what that would be like for a man that ain't into it. But if you just kind of, but then, take that rewind. If I fish, snatch, she snap. I have been with somebody that I didn't really, really want to. It was just like, we here now. So I do just give them the okay. I have. See, exactly. See, that's a married person that came to me. Neviel said, wow, literally just fighting about this last night after putting our son to sleep. I was overstimulated all day and just tapped out, like, and passed out. We've all been turned off at a point or two, right? There's all been points where we with somebody, or we're in the moment, and something may have happened. Maybe they said something, or maybe they did something like right mid-stroke. Like, man, what am I even doing here? Like, and then what do? Obligation sex. That's exactly what it is. Because then what do? You're obligated. I was just about to say that. You're obligated to kind of finish. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to, maintain what it is you do, you don't want to be like, you know what I mean? You kind of like, let me go ahead and get this over with. Like, because even in movies, they put it to where women are just sitting there, like, doing their nails, and the dude is like, yes, oh, yeah. And she's like, See, that's obligation sex. You there, and now that you're in it, you just obligated to finish or let them finish or whatever. But, as a dude, mid-stroke, and you be like, what? Then you got to either hurry up or, man, or come up with some excuse, because I've done that. Like, I don't know if I want to fuck with you no more. Like, I'm cool, but that's beforehand. Excuses come beforehand. Like, I don't think it's something else I'm into. But to lose interest, James said men fake nuts too. I don't know if I'm going to fake it. I don't know if I'm going to be, I don't know if I can't make the same, get to breathing hard and a little shake. I'm glad I'll never have to try that again. But if I would have been in a single world and in an uninterested state, I would have tried it, James. I've never faked a nut, but I have rushed a nut. That I have done. I've rushed one just to get the Hello Kitty up out of there, dog. Like, I'm talking about like rabbit speed just to get it done, because I felt I was obligated. So if you're in the position of, trying to figure out how to schedule your sex life, then by all means, again, you have to attach it to something positive. Give it a positive connotation as possible. Like, so you won't be in situations to where you feeling obligated or you rushing or you faking. That's every man's fear. I don't care what you say. You want to know if they was real. And unless they leave evidence, without evidence, it don't seem real. That's like fear. Fake evidence appearing real. Nah, that's a fake. I need evidence. I need a little stain somewhere. I need a splash somewhere. I need evidence. Shoot me in the chin. Shoot me in the stomach. Something. I need to know. The proof is in the pudding. Literally. That's what that statement's all about. Ain't about no Jell-O pudding. Ain't about no tapioca. The proof is in the pudding. That spot ain't coming out the couch, but you can. If you're in the Las Vegas area and you got one of them spots, call 360 Mobile Express and I'll get this stain out for you, dog. But it's going to cost you extra. It's going to cost you extra. But only her stains. I can't get the fella stains out. You on your own, dog. Better get you some Lysol and a Lysol wipe and some Comet. I don't know how you're going to get that out of it because ours is a little bit thicker and stickier. But like, you don't want to be, you have to put yourself in a mental space, attach the scheduling to a positive mental connotation, because if you don't, then it's making you feel out of place. If it's anything that's making you feel out of place, then more than likely it's not the right thing for you to do. If you feel out of place, it's either not the right thing or the right way of going about it. That's my thing. Not uneasiness. I mean, out of place. Like, you do not belong in this situation. Either you've gone about it wrong or what you're doing is not right for you. Your mind don't lie to you. They say go with your gut, like your stomach, and but your mind is what makes your stomach clench up. The one person you can't lie to and get away with it is yourself. You can try and try and try, but you're never gonna get away with it. So if you're in a position to where you feel like, okay, well, maybe I do like having sex with him, but you really don't, then you got to tell yourself that too. Be honest. Before you go scheduling some sex, make sure it's really the schedule you want to keep. It's like a doctor's appointment. You're not going to schedule a orthopedic doctor when you need an eye doctor. Nah, you need somebody that's servicing the right organs. So ask yourself that as well about Mr. or Miss, let's get it on the calendar. Is your man really where you want to be? That's a real question you have to ask. Are you trying to fool yourself into believing that by saying, let me schedule it? Or are you genuine and sincere about it? Like, yeah, I like it when he dick me down. Like, You know what I mean? So it's like, these are a couple of things that you have to kind of consider. Again, I'm never here to tell you what to do. I'm just giving you all the options. Like, I've got people checking in, chiming in, letting me know on both platforms, like different options. Like, what's this Miss Aranya say? She said, a sex therapist mentioned that taking the pressure off the physical touch, try to take out a session or a back rub with your partner with the expectation of being the sex end goal. That is another thing. Again, putting yourself in the right mental place. That's like for the fellas. Ladies possibly too, for the fellas. If you jack off too much, let me be PC. If you masturbate at too high of a level, then your love for sex itself is going to dissipate. Because now you masturbated not for pleasure, but to get to the point. You working just for the nut. And that's going to make you in your own sex life start working just for the nut and not for the pleasure. So like Neviel said, like, let touch be your euphoria without the nut being the end goal, without the sex being the end goal. That's the whole purpose of just the tip, almost. Like, if you want just the tip, then you don't want the goal to be the end goal of you coming, sir, that's putting in the tip. You really just want it to be for the pleasure of the touch. And this is true, rah-rah. A touch can set it off. But again, if you're putting that mental workout, you know, practice semen retention sometimes. Like what's my man say? Kevin Gates said. I was listening to him talk about that on the interview. Semen retention. Hold it. Don't even think about nothing. That in itself will create an even more exciting sexual practice. That's another thing you can consider, Mr. or Miss. Let's get it on the calendar. That in itself will give you a different sexual prowess and practice because you're searching for one thing, and that thing is to retain the semen. Like, you don't want to let it out. Your whole goal is to get to the point to practice not letting it out. It's not like peeing. It's not like peeing. Like, if you try, as a fella, as a dude, you try to hold your pee in, it's like taking a water hose and bending it in half, right? That is the worst. We're trying to hold your pee. You try to start, you don't believe me? Pee. Go pee, and then stop. Just stop right there, right there in the middle. You're going to blow your brains out from the inside of your bladder on up because we can't do it. Women, they can cut it off. Cut the hose off. Cut the pipes off. Cut them off. They can stop peeing in a second. But a man, nah. So if you practicing semen retention, if you have your man try that. Or again, go back to taking the pressure off of it being sexual and let the touch be the euphoria. You mess around and bust both of y'all just off the touch. You know? That's something different. If you can be able to do that, then again, you training the main muscle, your brain. Because all of these are thoughts. All these are thoughts and ideas and, possibilities that come from somewhere, right? But where's the first net that catches them? Your brain. That's the first thing that says, hey, come here. Let me dissect you and break you down, Mr. Idea. Mental ejaculation. Man, I do that every day. Busting that out of my brain because, she said it's the emotional security for me. And then put a splash emoji. Oh, what was that? Was that the wind? Man, listen, I'm thinking there's some spirits in the studio over here, but the wind then came and blew the door open, blew art off the wall. Y'all don't understand. I'm in Windy City too. Y'all think Chicago windy? It is. It's windier than here, but we in a big old cereal bowl here in Las Vegas, and the wind just be swirling. The next thing you know, it's going 70 miles an hour. Anyway, back to what we're talking about. So the emotional security, that is an emotionally secure thing to have. Like, if you know that you can control your body through your mind, you're a powerful individual. Extremely powerful. And when I started learning about all these, semen retention and mental ejaculations over physical ejaculations, when I started reading and dissecting these things down, a few months, this has only been months for me. It ain't even been a full year. I started thinking and talking about this stuff. It made me think like, well, where was I putting my focus before in these areas? And it's okay to always, you want to be a book, you want to read your book of life, you want to be able to turn the page every day. So that means you need to learn something every day. If not, you're still on the same page. You just stop reading two paragraphs in. So I believe in my book of life, I want to learn something new every single day. Even if it's somebody's name. I learned something new. I didn't know that yesterday. I didn't know Al Richardson yesterday. I know him today. These are real things. And exactly. And nowadays James said the body count was exciting and fulfilling back then. Scoring, and Jack said scoring touchdown. Like, yeah, exactly. The body counts were important. Nowadays they kind of blown out of proportion because it's really like, before you really had to put in work to really even try to schedule some sex with somebody. You had to really kind of call them. Like, it's a meme going around right now. You ain't really lived until you had to call some girl's house and her brother or her daddy answer the phone and say it's too late for her to talk on the phone right now. You ain't lived until you had to do that. Nowadays, everybody got immediate access at any time of the day. I wish I could take this phone and just throw this thing somewhere and not even have to worry about it. But then I'd be out of touch with the world. Then nobody can reach me. So I'm one of the 1 in 75,000 people that still got a house phone. Call that. And if I ain't there, leave a voicemail. I remember not having no call waiting. You know, you had to wait to try to schedule anything. You had to put in work, you know. So that was scheduling sex back in the day. So if we think about it more along the lines of like, ooh, man, I'm hanging out with blah, blah, blah tomorrow. I think she gonna let me, you know, touch her booty. You know, whatever. I think she gonna let me kiss her. Again, or I think I may hit that tonight. Whatever the conversations were in the locker room between us fellas. All those things made a difference. All those things were scheduling the sexual activity. So what's the difference between that and somebody you got as a partner? I don't really see one. I don't really see a difference in you know, making an appointment for what, you know, call it prom night. You know, call it, you know, birthdays. You know, like, again, like I say, Jeremiah said he got a song called Birthday Sex, right? And the song be like, it's your birthday and I know you want to ride out, even if it's only to my house. So there we go. We planning something. It's a day and we going to do something together, even if it's just, you know, I hate when people put the word just something because that minimizes it, you know, but we may go to my house. Scheduling. Right? You know, he said, you say you want passion. I think I found it. Right? Get ready for action. Get ready. So get ready. We're preparing. You know, again, scheduling. You know, don't be astounded. You know, because these are, again, they're preparing for these things because they've scheduled this sexual session. So, you know, tell me where you want your gift is what he said. Tell me. Talk to me. Again, the communication. You know, I touch on communication every single week. And I always say my number one phrase is you have to communicate. You have to listen to absorb and not listen to respond. You have to listen to absorb. So I hope when you do go plan to schedule this sexual activity with your man that he's listening to absorb, but then also you're listening to absorb his response to you. You know, and that's the thing. Like, it's a give, it's a take. Like, exactly, trading places, Dak. James said the art of seduction is lost these days too. Sex is a transactional, and a lot of times it is transactional now. Before, it was attachments to it. You know, whether it was adding to your body count or whatever it was, whether it was getting a virgin, whatever your goal was, even if they weren't the purest of intentions, right? Whatever your goal was, there was some scheduling attached to it, and there were more mental attached to it. Now it's heartless sex. It's mentalist sex. It's like, it's thoughtless sex. And it's all, they doing it all. Like, just met a girl and he sniffing a fart out her booty type. You know what I mean? It's like, and they singing about it. You know, so we need more of the climb to the climax. Ooh, that's a good one. Let me write that down in my head. Boom. We need more climb to the climax. And what I mean by that is taking steps at a time. If it means scheduling the sex to make sure it stays happy at home. If it means like scheduling sex to make sure that your pipes still work. To make sure that your juices are still flowing. You know, it's perfectly fine to be able to put an attachment or on a timetable, put a timetable on when things are going to occur. Because if you think about it, the things you plan usually work out the best. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail, right? So if the things you're planning are working for you in your life already, why not let sex be one of those things that you want to put on your schedule? If you really want to make it work. If sex is something that you really want to be in your daily plan, in your positive activity life. Again, it's mental. Sex is even more mental than track and field. Track may be 90% mental. Sex is 99.9% mental. It's only that 0.1% physical, and that's just because you have to be there to do it. The rest of it is all in your mind. That's stamina, that's arousal, that's pleasure. All of it starts here. And if you don't have a grip on this part of it, then the rest of it is like Tetris, right? Remember how Tetris first came out? You know, for some of us that had Game Boys when they first hit, all black and white, it was fun. And as the levels get higher, as your levels get higher on Tetris, things start moving faster, right? So now you yourself have to mentally prepare to put the things in place if you want to be successful, if you want to build. Thanks, Nook. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to build, you have to be able to process the information faster. The Tetris pieces are moving faster. So in order to be able to put yourself in a better place mentally, you have to, one, pay attention to where things are moving, how they're moving, what goes well together. So Mr. or Miss, let's get it on the calendar. Does, your sex life work well when you may have put some sort of let's get it on together tonight? Like Marvin Gaye said, let's get it on. Like, he got a whole song about it. And sometimes people, again, aren't always mentally ready. And then they start to...
Siri knows many things.
Siri, I didn't ask you anything, lady. People start to get that performance anxiety going. And it's only because the mind has been attacked and it wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. If your mind's not ready for it, your body won't receive it. That's anything. So again, it's okay. It is okay to put a schedule to your sex life if you want your sex life to be successful. Because if you're starting to notice things like, again, for those that's just joining us, we recapping. We have a writer that sent us in, a listener that sent us in a letter talking about, is it okay to schedule sex with a man? Because they got a lot going on in life. They got, no kids. They didn't mention anything about kids, but they got work. They got home. They got, activities that they enjoy together. So would it be okay for her to approach her man about scheduling sex? I say yes. I've had some people on here that started off saying like, nah, that's too routine, but I wonder if they still think the same way when all of these pieces are in place. And so again, I say attach something positive to it. Call it prom night, call it birthday. And if you're just talking an emoji, send a birthday cake with some candles in it with a question mark next to it. Or exclamation point, like, damn it, it's going on. And they can send back a birthday candle with a birthday cake with candles with a check mark next to it. You don't have to say a word. But again, you're communicating you're listening to absorb and not just to respond. Because again, if you're communicating, if your sex is your communication, your body got to listen to absorb. You may want to, but she may want, So your body got to respond to her body and where her body gives you the softness back. Or he may want to change positions and you want to stay in one and he losing interest. So now you got to respond to his interest lost and let's do something different. Squeeze something different. That's other form. That's the physical communication. But if you're going to schedule that, then you have to go in mentally knowing like this is the workout. This is the muscle you need to work out the most. This is the one, if you work your brain, all the rest of the physical things you come across ain't going to be shite. Not going to, small things to a giant. If your mind is your muscle that you work on the most, regardless whether it's sex, regardless whether it's work, regardless whether it's raising kids. If you find a way to exercise your mind, whether that's reading, whether that's, talking to somebody, communicating with somebody, watching people, listening to people. Living in Las Vegas has made me a hell of a people watcher. I mean, I watch people and it's not like watching them to be creepy or weird or anything like that. No, it's just really watching to observe what they got going on. What going on? What going on, my boy? I don't want to see what you're going to do something bad. I want to see what going on. So me can see what going on with your face. You understand? Maybe I didn't. But what I'm saying is, I want to look at your face. I want to see what you got going on. And it's not to be nosy. It's really to just observe. So in that form of communication through visual is visual communication. Auditory communication, listening to people. So these are the ways. Listen and see. I don't want to tell you what to do, Mr. or Miss. Let's get it on the calendar. Look, put on an article on the news that's talking about that in the background. In the background somewhere. You can just say, hey Siri or hey Alexa or whoever you talking to at the time. Look, and I say her name, she don't say nothing. But when I'm not talking to her, she all in my business. But say something and put that in the background and watch how they respond. Or listen to what they say about it. If you're still apprehensive about approaching them about this subject. Another thing I've learned about people is if you present them in the position to where they can, have to make a choice about something, then you have the best advantage of watching how they do it. If you're watching people with the intention of seeing how they move, put them in a position that you want to see how they move around. Like it was an old joke back in the day. Like, well, I don't know if it was a joke. It might have been a real story going around to where like it was, it was a dude. Actually, it was a joke. He said like, his sister-in-law was coming on to him and all this other kind of stuff. And, he was like, I won't tell my sister this, that, and the third. And, but it was, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward. She said, I'm going to go back to the room and I'm going to go get naked. You meet me back there. Fast forward, he went to go run out to the car, and as soon as he ran out the door, his wife was right there. Everybody was right there like, oh, I'm so glad, you passed the test. She was trying to see how he moved. But his whole thing, he was running to the car to go get some rubbers. But so you really got to see how people are moving around things. So put people in a position where you want to see what they move around. If you want to see how they move in that situation. So, again, Mr. or Miss, let's get it on the calendar. If you really want to ask, then ask. I say go ahead and ask. It's a possibility if you ask, you'll get an answer. But you know your man better than we do. We've left all these, comments on both platforms about, because I saw you chime in. I saw you online, so thank you for that. Because people usually put their @ when they send me letters, so I can be on the lookout for them when they tap into the feed. So I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just giving you options. One option, yes, ask him. Ask your man, like, hey, baby, how would you feel about us putting some sex on the calendar? Or another option could be like, find a way that, something that's associated when you think you were going to have sex anyway, prom night, birthday, whatever, and say, hey, babe, what if you think about us calling it prom night? And, and if I say, prom tonight or whatever, or we put prom on the schedule, how would you feel about that? Because that way it kind of gets you both in the mental capacity to where it's not pressure on it being physical. And then another option you can have is, put them in a position where you want to see how they will move about the thought or the idea, like put on an article, put on a newscast about it, go to YouTube, pull up something about it on there and see how they react and respond to the subject matter itself. See how that works. Those are a few options, So before I wrap it up, in summation, again, always, I like to tell everybody thank you that chimes in, that taps in, that tunes in to Holla at the Homie, because we growing out there. We growing, y'all. We almost a mob out there. So I appreciate all of y'all that tap in with me each and every week. I'll be back next week. If you ever need to get something across, get your information to me, you got questions for me, send me an email at hollaatthehomie@gmail.com. That's HOLLAATTHAHOMIE@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to answer your questions. I don't know which one we're going to use next week. I got a couple of letters in this morning, so it's a couple of them. One of them's a doozy. Might go with that one next week. But until next week, y'all, peace and blessings. And always remember, keep your head on the swivel. And I'll holla at you in a minute. I'm gone. Boom. Holla at y'all.